the MPO policy meeting to order. Today's November 20th, 2024, 1:37 p.m. Chairperson to call meeting to order. Chairperson to call, please.
We'll go ahead and call roll and then...
Yes.
Yes, thank you. We'll go ahead and call roll, and then we'll take an action to select someone to preside over the meeting in the absence of the chair or the vice chairperson.
Good afternoon. Judge Tano E. Tijerina, Mayor Dr. Victor D. Trevino, Councilmember Ricardo Richie Rangel Jr.,
Here.
Councilmember Ruben Gutierrez Jr.,
Present.
Commissioner Jesse Gonzalez,
Present.
Commissioner John Galo, Councilmember Vanessa Perez,
Present.
Mr. Epigmenio Epi Gonzalez,
Present.
Mr. Jed Brown.
Present.
For the record, you do have a quorum.
Thank you.
I'll move
So
a motion to exclude those that are not present.
Second that motion.
So as per our bylaws, in the absence of a chairperson or vice chairperson, the policy committee can decide who will preside over the meeting through a motion.
Make a motion to Councilman Ruben.
Second.
To run the meeting.
Thank you. Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you. Citizens' comments?
These are none this time.
None here. Okay, item number 4, requiring policy committee action. A, approval of the minutes of the meeting being held on October 16, 2024. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 4B, receive public testimony and initiate a 20-day public review and comment period for the draft 2025-2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan, MTP. A presentation of the draft 2025 to 2050 MTP will be provided by a representative of WSP. Mr. Mendiva, please. 2050. I'm hoping by that time I'm not here anymore, but little time away.
You mean here?
Yeah, this world. Yeah, I'll be fine. I'll line up in heaven, I think. Yeah, God willing, I get there. You know, we'll see. Sure. What's that laugh, Mr. Nakhead?
I'm saying.
So yeah, so I do want to welcome Councilman Rangel
Thank you, sir.
to the policy committee, and also thank Councilman Sierra for contributions.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Welcome. So we've been hard at work working on this over the past year, the 2025-2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan. It is one of our core documents for the MPO. It has to be updated every 5 years. Consultants will talk more about that.
Mr. Mendiva, hate to interrupt you. The mayor of the Laredo is here, Dr. Victor Trevino. He will be taking over my spot as a chairperson here. Thank you very much. Second, please. Thank you. We are in 4B. We're having the testimony on issue 20-day public.
You're ready for
So they are ready for the presentation.
Yes, thank you.
4B. Go ahead.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you. So yes, we're presenting the Metropolitan Transportation Plan. Like I mentioned, it's a core document that's updated every 5 years. We've been hard at work with our consultants, WSP and LJA, on this. So they'll be giving a presentation. We do need to open a public comment period, so y'all can make a motion. Also, we need to see if there's anybody to give public testimony here at the meeting. But you can do that after the presentation or before the presentation. It's up to you all, but I did want to introduce Mr. Robbie Cuthart from WSP, who will be presenting today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey everyone, just like Juan said, my name is Robbie Guthart. I'm a transportation planner at a firm called WSP, and we've been supporting the MPO and preparing this update to the Metropolitan Transportation Plan for the years 2025 to 2050. So on the screen I have an agenda showing, we'll go over the MTP background, the schedule, just kind of showing what we've been working on. I'll touch on the goals and objectives of the plan and then talk about project evaluation and prioritization, which really gets us to that fiscally constrained project list. So these are the program projects in the MTP. Then I'll go over the illustrative project list and then tell y'all about public meeting 2. And then, like Juan said, request y'all to open the 20-day public comment period on the draft MTP. So just to kick it off, this slide just shows an overview. I'm sure you guys are already aware of what an MTP is, but if you don't, it's It establishes that long-term transportation and policy agenda for the Laredo region. It outlines regional transportation priorities and identifies those transportation projects to meet the needs that we've identified over the course of this planning process and meets the goals that we've identified. All are remaining fiscally constrained over this 20-year horizon, so thinking 2025 to 2050. And the plan is updated every 5 years, so there is that cyclical process. Here's our schedule that we've been following for the MTP. So we began back in spring, starting off with an analysis of existing conditions, establishing the goals and objectives of the MTP, just to help us guide the process. And we also held public meeting 1, and that was back in May. Where we had exhibits showing the public what we've been studying and received some feedback through some interactive activities on goals and some identifying people's transportation needs, along with holding a survey. In the summer, we hit the desktop and looked at what we received from the public, looked at more transportation data to produce a needs analysis. We coordinated with stakeholders, with TxDOT, the Laredo District, with the RMA and El Metro, and we also held a call for projects. So these are project nominations from the public, from our agency sponsors, and we received those, and I'll go over those in just a minute. In the fall, we went through a prioritization process after receiving these projects. We developed a new objective criteria-based prioritization process to evaluate each project. And then where we're at now is we're about to hold public meeting 2 tomorrow evening. We've been working on the draft MTP, and in the winter, we'll be wrapping this up where we're at now in issuing this draft MTP for public comment. Just to recap the goals and objectives, I know Juan had gone over these previously, but we have 10 goals that we developed for the MTP. They're safety, asset preservation, economic vitality and competitiveness, system reliability, innovation and technology, connectivity, equity, environmental sustainability, climate resilience, and sustainable financing. So we prepared these goals and objectives just based off previous MTPs, just to carry over consistency, and also the MTP is a federally regulated plan, and there's a set of guidelines and what they call planning factors and emphasis areas that we have to cover. So that's why we get this pretty large list of goals that are very comprehensive, addressing a lot of different need areas. So building upon those goals, we use the goals to develop a project evaluation and prioritization project. So I mentioned we had this call for project nominations. So we received several nominations, but then we had to evaluate them and then understand which ones are the priorities for the region. Because we always in the case, there's more transportation needs, more projects to fulfill those needs than there are anticipated revenues from the state and the federal government to fulfill and fund those needs. So we developed an updated project evaluation criteria where we had a criterion for each goal that I just went over. And these were developed to be data-driven. Mostly they're GIS-based, so Geographic Information System-based, to evaluate each project's ability to fulfill a goal, one of these goals, of the 10 goals of the MTP. In addition, we had subjective criteria that really, you can only look at the data so much. Sometimes there are pieces and meanings behind these projects to understand the priorities that we wanted to get scores based off our technical committee's understanding of community priorities and just really the need for fulfilling that quality of life in Laredo. So we had subjective criteria as well. So going through that process, on screen we have this fiscally constrained project list. This list is more detailed. We wanted to make sure we showed this on screen, but so that 1 through 15, those are projects that were either programmed in the current TIP, the past MTP, or the TxDOT's Unified Transportation Program, the UTP. So those are already programmed and included in the MTP because they're within that planning horizon. So these will all be let for construction between 2025 and into 2050. So the ones at the bottom in green are the ones that we selected through our selection and evaluation and prioritization process. So let me see, So on the next slide, I have a more simplified list with the project map on the side. So the ones in purple are the ones that were selected through our process, new process of the MTP, and the ones in green in the table. So we have the Viosio Road interchange at IH35 at I-35, the Loop 20 interchange at Cielito Lindo Boulevard, the Loop 20 interchange at Sierra Vista Boulevard, the Laredo Outer Loop, Segment 5. Again, this is part of the Laredo Outer Loop, the Loop 20 extension, Segment 3B, and then River Road.
For the record, just to announce that Mr. Gate was present. Thank you.
Sorry for the tardiness.
Thank you.
And then, like I mentioned before, so the MTP is a fiscally constrained document, so we received more project nominations than there are expected revenues at this time to fulfill all those needs. So then these are the other projects on this slide that we received that we call illustrative projects or a project needs list. So these will be listed in the MTP as project needs that at this time do not have program funding. But however, as funding becomes available, these are available in the MTP for consideration. Great. And then just up here, we do have a public meeting tomorrow at the public library. We'll be there getting started at 5:30. It goes from 5:30 to 7:30, and we'll do opening remarks, like a small presentation, kind of similar to this, starting at 6, if you all are able to join us. And then on this slide, just showing, as Juan mentioned, the objective as part of this, we do request the policy committee to open the 20-day comment period for the draft MTP. For that comment period to be from November 20th to December 9th. We do have the MTP. This has not been shared to the public yet. It's on your computer screens. It's one, I think it's your far right tab. We've created a website through S3 ArcGIS Services for a landing page where the public will be directed to where they can go to that page, and there's a button essentially so that they can review the draft MTP as a PDF, and then another button on that landing page to provide any general comments, because we'd like to receive any comments from the public.
Sure. Mayor, can I make a motion to open and initiate the 20-day public comment period for the MTP 2020-2025?
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Yep, I just mentioned my next step. So thank y'all. I think once we receive comments, we'll process those, make any necessary revisions, and then we'll be returning to y'all for an adoption of that final MTP. Thanks for your time.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So part of this meeting is going to be to solicit feedback from the public on which of these projects they feel is a priority and to give that information to us. Is that part of the purpose of the meeting tomorrow, or is it more just to inform them of the decision that's already been made in the plan and how it stands right now?
Yeah. It's really to have comments on anything because it's the whole plan. I welcome any comments from the public on priorities.
But does that do we have flexibility in that for future funding, or the funding that's like the projects that have already been funded are set?
So I'll help answer that.
Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, on the fiscally constrained is basically what you're seeing there is what revenues we have through 2050, like for CAT 7, for example. Mm-hmm. So we know what projects we can program, but this is in no way actually set in stone. It's set in stone that these are the projects we want to accomplish within that window, but that funding can change, right? As we do through our TIP process, how we've done with our projects where we've programmed funds in the future and accelerate projects. So I know like on one here, like River Road, now it shows the letting date of 2040, but if we get that project shovel ready, it could be a lot sooner than that, and we can move funding around. So this is just showing with the money that's currently available that we know for future estimated revenues through 2050, these are projects that we can accomplish in the next 25 years. That's all this is saying.
Yes, go ahead. Thank you, Mr. Mendiva. And obviously, it is to inform the community as far as this is what's going to happen in the next decade or so, but also it's to really think about what's coming down the pipeline quicker, and if we have to accelerate funding or push projects further up, that's basically the feedback that we need from the community. For example, the big ticket item right now in the talks is the 405 bridge. Well, what has to happen in this, within this committee with TxDOT working together, city and county, to be able to have that infrastructure? And I know you mentioned a couple of overpasses here and there in the south, but this would be the time to let the community know this is coming down, and this is sooner than than we expected it, but now it's here, and now we have to prepare for this. We don't want to be, 2 steps behind, any steps behind when we come to having this big project already off the ground.
Yes, that's correct. So yeah, this is a guide for the next 25 years. And like you mentioned, some projects are going to be in the fiscally constrained list, but we also made sure to put the other projects, and maybe we don't have all the funding for it this time, but we're making sure that it's in our 25-year plan, and the funding becomes available, we can move it into the fiscally constrained list. That's something I think that's important to note. Also remember the MTP can be amended along with the TIP, so priorities shift. That's something that can be changed, right? It's a living document. As we've done in the past, we've amended our previous MTP.
So, Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
So the meeting tomorrow would be fruitful for people in the community to come out and pay attention, especially those that have comments on infrastructure and concerns, so they can,
Yes,
understand that their comments will be taken into consideration and be included as part of future planning and prioritization.
that's correct. And through the federal process, we're required, any comments that are received, we need to provide a summary of that in the final adoption of the document.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. So I think we just need to ask if I know you all opened the comment period. If there's anyone here to speak for or against, and then we'll leave the comment period open for 20 days. Hopefully we will see you all at tomorrow's public meeting, and please spread the word about that. Thank you.
All right. Any other comments? All right. Before we proceed, just wanted to make a note that I wanted to congratulate Victor Angel for being appointed to MPO. I appointed him because we need more representation in South Laredo, and having somebody that actually lives in South Laredo is important. And also having more investment with the sports complex and the 405 bridge situation on the south, I think he would be an appropriate appointment. So just wanted to mention that and congratulate him.
Mayor, thank you so much for this appointment. It's no lie that with the South Laredo's growing, 405 bridge is coming. We're trying to see the connectivity that we can do from the 405 bridge all the way to 35, so we have that connectivity. But appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity, and so appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Welcome.
Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
I'd like to welcome him here and thank him for his time and service.
Thank you so much.
All right. Go ahead. Proceed.
Thank you. Now, just so you can ask if there's anyone to speak for or against. If not, you may proceed to the next item.
All right. So,
You had one of the votes.
yeah. Okay. For or against? For or against? For or against?
Thank you. So we'll leave the comment period open for 20 days. Then we should be coming back in January to adopt the final MTP. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Next item, 4C.
Thank you, Mayor. As we've done in the past, usually in December, we haven't had a meeting. The next meeting would be scheduled for December 18th, as per our bylaws.
Cancel the meeting of
December.
December 18th.
Second that motion.
Motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Let's see if I can get my next item on the screen. All right, 5A, status report on the Regional Mobility Authority, the RMA. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. In your packet, you will find information that we've provided updating the major projects we're working on. There's a list of 7 or 8. You're obviously welcome to ask about any specific project you'd like an update on. I think in the early part of the year, we'll talk about Safe Streets for All and Vision Zero and give a full report at the time that the MPO is ready to receive it. We'll also make presentations before City Council, County Commissioners, if they'd like, on the findings of that report. And then I'd say pretty soon, too, I think we'll start giving quarterly updates on Vallecillo if the MPO wants to have presentations on where we are in the timeline. I would like to update that we had a meeting this morning at the TxDOT District Office that was very well attended by the city, the county, the RMA, MPO, of course TxDOT, talking about the overpass. So there's some design changes that are looming there that I think are really positive to carry the traffic more efficiently and more safely over that overpass over what was being considered before. Those were initiated by TxDOT, not by the RMA, but we like what they're doing. And so I think January we can probably start laying some stuff out in front of this group so they can see what's happening with that and what's happening with the timeline. So that would be my update. If there's any questions on any specific project, we'd be happy to answer them.
Mayor, if I may real quick.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm going to touch up a little bit on number 3, which is the Concord Hills connection, and talking about the important projects in southeast Webb County or Laredo. The idea back then in 2017, 2018, when the county through CTIP grants, so appreciate TxDOT, obviously we really utilize those funds, was the vision, the long-term vision of making that Warner Road realignment project come to fruition. Now that the road is there and the sports complex is being built, now this connection is going to really connect traffic mobility and help it from 83 South traveling eastbound on Lomas del Sur, and then under that overpass that hopefully we're going to cover in the next item, and then all the way to Concord Hills to the 359. So this is going to be a really good connection, and it's going to help alleviate traffic not only in South Laredo but East Laredo as well. So appreciate that.
And I can update you quickly on that. We've presented a draft ILA to the City of Laredo with the team members involved. We're contributing $1 million. The city is taking the lead. The Webb County Drainage District number 1 is putting in $325,000. So we actually have the funding to complete the project. The development group that controls probably 90% of the right-of-way, all the developers there, my understanding is, have offered to donate the right-of-way. One development entity, it's Donato Ramos and his team, has offered to contribute the civil engineering design, which is about a $400,000 price tag that we're not having to pay for as a community, so that's encouraging. But as soon as that ILA is entered into, I think that project hopefully will move along quickly.
How many miles?
So the connection is not even a mile, I think. It's
No, Melissa, do you know?
About 3/4.
about 3/4 of a mile. Yeah. But that's going to have a huge impact. So.
Mayor?
All right, go ahead.
For the ILA with the city, I don't know if I don't see anybody from the city here to answer.
I asked Ramon Chavez this morning for an update, and he said that it's with legal, so any city official can push it there. We've prepared the draft, which we normally do. We give it to try and move things along more quickly, so that the City of Laredo's legal department can review it, have comments, we can make changes, and then it goes before council. Y'all bring it back for approval, but it's with the city legal department right now.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right. That's 5B. 5B. All right, next item is 5B, TxDOT project updates.
Thank you, Mayor. This is something that we've added as a standing item, just for an opportunity if there's any questions on TxDOT projects. like a Char Ruthinger. He was already went to letting, but I know Jose from TechStot is here today to provide an update.
Hi, good afternoon. Jose Vargas, Laredo engineer from TechStot, here to present an update on the construction projects that my office is handling. So we currently have 28 active projects. Running total is about $797 million. I'm just going to cover the projects that are within the limits of the RMA. The first one is the IH-35, IH-69 overpass there by UPRR. We're currently wrapping up that project, working on punch list items. We are working on, paint repairs, deficiencies, so that one should be ready to be completed beginning of this upcoming year, about January. We should be out of that area. US 59 expansion from International to south of Jacaman. Contractor is James Construction Group. Total investment or the investment in that project is $340 million. Currently working on the water line installation as part of the joint bid with City of Laredo. Other private...
Point of order?
Yes,
is there a slide provided to us?
Not today, ma'am.
After this. Yeah, because we have the standing item just because there was anything that would come up. I know, I think they informed Jose today, right? So you just gave it an update. But we did talk about this for the future meetings. We can have something to show. But really, the idea of the item was just to see if there was anything that you all needed to ask of TechStot. But they went ahead and asked Jose if you could present.
Yeah, discuss with Mr. Mendivil. We're going to prepare a presentation for upcoming meetings.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. Yeah. US 59 expansion, working also on private utilities, relocation of private utilities. Contractor is moving earthwork, preparing grades for the permanent construction of the northbound frontage road. And expected completion for this project is by the end of 2029. SH-84 at Char Ruthinger project. Investment for this project is $122 million awarded to Weber. This project started on August 2024. Contractor is currently working on clearing right-of-way, working on bridge structures, columns, caps at 3 crossings that are going to become bridges, and moving earthwork again in preparation for concrete pavement. Expected completion date for that project is fall of 2027.
Quick question, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I know, and maybe I missed it in the last meeting because I wasn't here, but there were some minor right-of-way issues, acquisitions with a couple of property owners. Everything got resolved, and
the city is still working on the last parcel, but as of now, that doesn't pose a conflict in the short term.
As much.
But I think there's one parcel to be acquired. Right. 359 widening, Anderson. This project was awarded to Anderson, Colombia. Investment on this project is $50 million. We're currently working on the south side of the permanent roadway and also on the portion of the divided highway further east on this project. We're starting to place hot mix this week, and we can expect a traffic switch after the holidays as we come back from the holidays. Lomas del Sur, this was led this month in November. Lowest bidder is Anderson, Colombia. The project has not been awarded, but they came as the lowest bidder. And it's the construction on an overpass on Lomas del Sur, upgrades to the intersection traffic signal, and we also building a centerline concrete barrier from Lomas del Sur to tie in to the overpass over 359.
That also includes the concrete barrier as well, right?
Yes, sir.
So it was an addition towards the end, so
yeah,
the city
so
came through.
it is. We're gonna have a concrete barrier at the bridge, and then we're gonna continue it north, and we're gonna tie into the existing one of the overpass of 359. Last here in the list is rehabilitation of 8 miles on SH 255 Camino Colombia, starting from 35 going west. This project was awarded to Anderson, Colombia for an investment of $25 million. We are in time suspension. Contractor is getting materials to start this project at the beginning of beginning of December. We should be there on 255. Other miscellaneous projects currently in the area, striping, upgrading of signs on IH-35, upgrading of high mast, and striping on the 4-block area. And of course, we're also doing a safety cable barrier along US 83 South from Cielito Lindo south towards the county line on the divided highway area.
Mayor, if I may? Yes, go ahead. A little bit out of this realm, but expansion of 35 specifically after the checkpoint. Are we working on that by any chance, or is TxDOT working on that? Because we're slowing it down. Of course, you've seen the traffic heading northbound on 35 at the checkpoint. And what Border Patrol is telling us, it's because of the fact that we just have those 2 lanes, one, of course, for vehicular traffic, the other for commercial traffic. And I know we've talked about this prior to, but do you have any plans for that as of now? Specifically at that point, as soon as we leave the checkpoint, because that's what's causing these miles and miles of traffic on 35 heading northbound.
So, Councilmember, if I can, yes, we do have a project identified. As a matter of fact, last month we did have a meeting with, we've been having meetings with CBP on that issue. We even had some meetings with some property owners up in Encinal. They had requested, or CBP had requested us to help convert the West Frontage Road to one-way to southbound direction, to help, I guess, deter people from using the frontage road as a means to bypass the checkpoint. Obviously, through the meeting, it was pretty well attended. We had a lot of good points that were brought up by the property owners out there. So, we're putting that kind of a hold on that particular project to convert the frontage road. But to answer your question, is we do have a project to add capacity to I-35. Which right now, it's, as you all know, it's 2 lanes in each direction. On the main lanes, we cannot restrict trucks from using the inside lane because we only have 2 lanes. So the idea is to expand it to 3 lanes or 6 lanes, 3 in each direction, separate the truck traffic similar to what we have in Falfurrias, on the Falfurrias checkpoint. So, so that's going to help alleviate. But I think the main, the main item that was brought up, even brought up by the property owners, is just, and CBP acknowledged it, is that they're not manning, they don't have enough resources to man that inspection. So they do have opportunity to, they do have the booths, to, I guess, handle additional traffic, but they don't have the resources to operate that. So that was one of the things that CBP agreed.
That's what CBP told you?
Well, that was during that conversation, during that meeting, but CBP also acknowledged that, and they said that was one of the things that they were working on internally to shift some resources just so that they could have more booths open to help process vehicles a little bit faster.
Okay.
So.
When we were up in Washington last year, I had this conversation with the chief with Border Patrol, and they're telling me completely the opposite. That they have the manpower to do so, but that we just can't move the traffic out there fast enough. So what I'm asking is something, maybe short period, to actually add maybe acceleration lanes to, a mile or 2 to get those tractors back onto 35, so they're not holding up all the traffic. As you've seen before the checkpoint, we have a mile, sometimes 2 miles of traffic backed up on both lanes, which it specifies them to be on the right lane, but they don't stay there, obviously, right? So they're holding everybody else back. But if we could look at something like that and fund maybe acceleration lanes, it would really help us out tremendously.
So our, and this is, Roberto Rodriguez is here from Director of TPND, but that is basically our top priority project for the district, is to basically Add exactly what you said. Add additional lanes south of the checkpoint and north. And so in the vicinity of the checkpoint, about 2 miles or 3 miles upstream and downstream of the checkpoint, just for that same reason.
Do you have a time frame approximately where we're looking at?
We don't. It was submitted. Last year for funding. It wasn't selected for funding, and it's being submitted again this year for funding. So we do have a consultant working on
If I may, Mayor, when are they going to start the expansion of that checkpoint? We're going to have the largest checkpoint pretty soon. They're going to expand 75 acres, so they have to have the manpower. And that's when maybe we can show that we need the funding already to tie it into that project.
So my understanding is they do have funding for the design of the checkpoint facility.
$320 million for design only.
Correct. So they do have the funding for the design. Again, so they're in that process. So we're going to be working with CBP to basically match up to what they're going to build, right? Separate the truck lanes to what they're proposing, so that we can eliminate, separate the regular passenger vehicles from the commercial traffic.
If I may, and really I don't think manpower is the problem, because the passenger vehicles is just that the trucks cut them off. Sure. And so there's usually two lanes open for the passenger vehicles. And then finally when the trucks, start going into the 3 separate lanes, it frees up and the cars can pretty much go through there. Yep. But it's to get there is the problem, because the trucks cut off everything. Sure. And then you got the guys at the last minute trying to cut over, just like they do when the bridge closes down. Everybody tries to cut to the front of the line and cut in. And so there needs to be that dedicated lane. And adding a shoulder on the right side doesn't seem like a very difficult prospect.
Well,
Action or diesel lanes, exactly.
So that again, what we're looking at is not just restriping or just scapping on additional pavement. We're looking at basically building out that whole area. So,
and I do have a further question as far as it just. Seems like every time, right at the holidays, and I know it's because of the way things left with TxDOT, but we start construction right in front of the mall. And here we go again. There's something going on right now, and Black Friday's going to be here, and everything just comes to a standstill. And so I know it's too late for this year, but I hope we would consider in the future, maybe delaying those things to January 1st or something.
Yeah. Well, so we can restrict lane closures leading up even during the Black Friday weekend, right? Just to make sure that traffic that goes that's going to go to the mall or
and it's inevitable. It always happens. Right from Thanksgiving to Christmas, I-35 is under construction. The ramps and everything, so it just slows all that traffic down, and you can't get anywhere if you're driving across there. So that's what I'm just saying. So I know it's too late for this year, but next year, please. Let's
duly noted.
We have provisions. If we need to be there, we'll prioritize to do it at night unless it's an absolutely emergency. But we'll talk to
them. Maybe delayed till January 1st, the awarding or whatever, or can't start construction.
Thank you. So that covers my update.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'll proceed with 5C. Update by MPO staff on administrative modification of 3 projects listed on the FY 2025-2028 Transportation Improvement Program, TIP.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just a quick update. This is for informational purposes only, as they are administrative modifications, and administrative modifications do not require any formal action or formal revision. So this 2 projects at the request of TxDOT just changed the lead dates from FY25 to FY26. First one, and this is in your packet, CSJ 0922 33093. That's the Calton and Santa Maria interchange. project sponsor is the City of Laredo. That's being changed to FY 2026 for the letting date. The other project is CSJ 0018 05089 to replace the bridge at Union Royal Drive. That's also being changed from FY 25 to FY 26 at the request of TxDOT. And the other project, CSJ 0922 236, that's the Springfield Extension Phase 4 project. At one point, the RMA had put in $1 million of their funding that they have from Category 12, but they're now using local money, not that federal funds. So what we're doing is we're just changing it on the tip to not show any federal funding for informational purposes. We're leaving it on the tip. It's, it's not going to have a CSJ anymore because that's really a local project only, not federal project. So the only changes, no other changes were made to that.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Is it a date? Is it a funding? Is it for funding purposes or for commencement purposes?
On the change, the letting date changes, it's basically just where it's at the project development stage. So the funding is still there. It's just being changed because of where they're at. Maybe they're still missing a few steps to get into letting.
Yeah, but when we've seen with the Charruthinger, if you push the date back a year, well, a funded project now becomes an unfunded project.
Yeah, I know that's a risk, right, that happens. Again, these are things that, that TxDOT looks at when you're getting close to that FY, because we're already in FY 25. So if they see that it's not going to make it, we need to push it back to FY 26. It's just not realistically going to let this fiscal year.
Well, I have a question because of the Colton and Santa Maria project has been in the works for a long time, and we had the schematics ready to go, and it was recommended that we modify, just not necessarily modify for necessity, but just out of, I don't know exactly why, but now here we are pushing that project another year. So I don't understand why it was recommended to do that. Have we gone over, are we going to be given an update on the plans, or why, whose decision was this?
Yeah, we can ask for an update, and I know these are conversations that TxDOT has with the city on this project. They meet about quarterly, sometimes monthly, I think, and I guess this was something that was requested because maybe there's still some things that are missing to get to letting.
Yeah, I think it would be appropriate to have a mayor, if I may, an update on
that project,
on these projects, on like the justification on why the changes are being made.
Yeah, I know, and the city's not here, but I don't know if on the Union Royal Drive, if TxDOT would want to just mention the justification for that, but
well, specifically the Colton and Santa Maria.
Yeah, we can have the city come to the next meeting to provide an update on that.
Thank you.
Right. Okay. Let's proceed to number 6, director's comments.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. As I had mentioned at the beginning, just wanted to welcome Councilmember Rangel. Glad to have you on board. And again, I also thank Councilmember Sierra for contributions to the committee. The other update I had, the microtransit feasibility study. We have a public survey that we provided to gather feedback from the method writers. It's currently open, and the consulting team for that study was here in Laredo the week of November 11th to conduct field work and engage with our technical committee members. We're looking to have a public meeting probably sometime in February for this microtransit study that we're doing. An update on the next Texas Transportation Commission meetings. Their next meeting is December 17, 2024. And then in 2025, that's scheduled for the year 2025 is still not yet available. You do have a link in the packet on the report where you can see the meeting dates. As soon as we know about 2025, we'll provide that update. Our upcoming meetings, we have our Active Transportation Committee December 4th. And then since we did go ahead and cancel the December 18th meeting, we will not have a technical meeting or policy meeting in December until January. So with that being said, thank you all. Hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving. If there's any questions, happy holidays.
All right, thank you. All right. Communications, number 7.
Yeah, that was an item that I know our chair had asked to be included just in case if anybody had anything that...
Mayor, just, real quick, I want to congratulate Councilmember Gutierrez and Councilmember Perez on their re-election.
Thank you.
You all
Thank you
will
so much.
continue to serve not only the city of Laredo, but obviously through the MPO, the entirety of Webb County and the city of Laredo. So
Thank you.
congratulations on y'all's victory.
Thank you.
And also, Mayor, on the propositions, they all passed, and, now y'all made history for the first time in the mayor voting over 40 years, I heard?
42 years.
42 years, so, times are changing, so we're adapting, so congratulations to the city of Laredo.
Thank you. We're anticipating good changes.
And I just wanted to add, thank you to all the staff and everybody here, that works on this committee. It's been a good year. We've seen some progress. We hope to see more next year, and wish everybody happy Thanksgiving and a blessed Merry Christmas, since we won't be seeing you till after that. And Happy New Year.
That is true. Very true. Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas. Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Motion. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Meeting adjourned.